Welcome back to the CryptoFather channel, where I bring you another barrage of brand spanking news fresh off the printing press. Today is the 21st of May, Wednesday, and we're going to kick off with a quick look at the markets because Bitcoin has been doing some phenomenal stuff. We're at $3.4 trillion, which is not a big change. Actually, it hasn't changed at all. Let me just refresh the page quickly. Yep, 3.47, $118 billion in trading volume. Bitcoin is presently sitting at $106,000. It hit $107,000, retraced a little bit. Ethereum at $2,500. The Bitcoin chart looks as follows. I keep seeing charts where that show Bitcoin reaching $250,000, and of course it's difficult to see that happening when the channel I have drawn is basically one that has been supporting the highs and lows since 2017. So the top part of it caps the top of the 2017 levels, and the bottom of the chart holds the bottoms. And so it's been pretty good at predicting where things have been and where they're going potentially. And so when you see projections of $250,000 Bitcoin, it's hard to fit that into the chart here. When you look at this upward trajectory on this chart, it's hard to see Bitcoin break above this level, $112,000, $112,000 here. When we're talking about $120,000 Bitcoin, obviously that would have to break well below that. So there's a lot of resistance on the way, and I guess we're gonna have to see if Bitcoin actually does manage to get past that. And considering the fact that we are aiming for August, some people are talking about the end of 2025. My projections for a massive pump, then a dump, and another couple of pumps in the month of August, and quite possibly going into the month of October. I guess that's still way away because we're not nowhere close to the pump that I thought we might be at $120,000 here, $170,000 here by the end of May. We'll see how that's going to go. Maybe June, July, and then another dump, but that could be the end of the bull market. So my goal will be to take profits when we see the next pump. Probably start taking profits at around $120,000. If it goes beyond that, then I'll continue dribbling out profits. Of course, for the altcoins, it's a little bit of a different story. Everything depends on the price tags. Speaking of price tags, Ethereum sees 205 million inflows after the Pectra upgrade sparks investor confidence. So Ethereum had an upgrade to the blockchain just recently, and it hasn't seen a lot of action outside of this massive pump. After what felt like a never-ending cycle of selling pressure and fading institutional investment, ETH finally flipped the script. Last week, it pulled a whopping 205 million in inflows, its biggest weekly score in 2025 so far. Solana is doing something similar. Solana's Alpenglow protocol upgrade to boost network speed. The presumption is that it's going to boost network speed and hopefully maybe have a similar effect to that of Ethereum in 2025 and 2026, because traditionally altcoins pump after Bitcoin finishes its run. A few days after Bitcoin takes a breather, altcoins tend to pump. So Solana may be seeing another pump coming in after this upgrade. And Ethereum is forming a bull flag right here. If you look at the charts, the Ethereum chart, we've got a bull flag right here forming, which could see Ethereum being pushed. Right now, Ethereum is teetering around on two support lines, one by from the discount zones on the Fibonacci, and of course then the other Fibonacci retracement zone right here. And so we could see Ethereum pump all the way to $2,700, but then it's a matter of breaking above that, and of course breaking back into the ascending parallel lines region, which it broke out of in February and hasn't managed to crawl its way back into so far. A bullish breakout above 2,600 could target 3,600, which is calculated by adding the flagpole height to the breakout point, but the immediate key area of interest remains between the resistance range at $3,100, $3,000. So the flagpole would be from here to here. That would be our flagpole, and then we take that projection and send it all the way from here to here. So we're looking at like a $3,600 Ethereum, and which coincides with another resistance line on the Fibonacci retracement. Big things are happening for Ethereum. This is why Ethereum will benefit the most as Genius Act bill advances. Ethereum exchange supply drops to a record low of 4.9%, the lowest in over 10 years, reducing selling pressure. Over 1 million ETH have been withdrawn from exchanges in the past month as ETH gains 58% and surpasses 2,500 and $500, and Genius Act mandates one-to-one stablecoin backing, boosting Ethereum's DeFi and stablecoin dominance. On Monday night, the US Senate passed a procedural vote to advance the Genius Act, a bill to regulate stablecoins. The Genius Act proposes clear guidelines for stablecoin issuers. It requires stablecoin to be backed one-to-one by US dollar reserves. Ethereum is the primary network for stablecoins, hosting major assets like USDC and DAI. The Genius Act supports one-to-one reserve requirements and regulatory clarity, which directly benefits each stablecoin ecosystem. And so this is your tidbit for Ethereum. Ethereum exchange supply hits lowest level in 10 years, suggests that a lot of Ethereum is flowing out of exchanges and quite possibly into wallets. It means that people are hodling, nobody's selling, there is no immediate sell pressure, and so that should boost the overall price of Ethereum. SafeMoon CEO branded remorseless liar in explosive closing argument. Very good. I say look up all the scammers and frauds, including the Liver King. If you haven't followed him, he was a lifelong scammer. So selling tulips, talking about selling tulips, man, Liver King and the likes of CEOs, SafeMoon CEOs and such. And speaking of scammers, Haley Welch has been cleared for Hawk Token rug pull. I guess she's no longer guilty of that. Haley Welch aired a new episode of her podcast Talk Tua, where she explained she misunderstood crypto, but said there were no further investigation against her personally. How lucky for her. I didn't know. India's top court calls for clear crypto regulations. India is backtracking, so India is now saying that instead of banning, they should just regulate it. Smart move. And that seems to be the case for many countries, including China. So once India and China step back into the limelight and begin adopting and regulating rather than banning crypto, I think we're going to see a massive push, massive bloom in cryptocurrencies and a massive price spike overall. The Indian legal system pointed to India's existing 30% tax on crypto gains as proof that digital assets already play a role in the country's economy. The court directed regulators to collaborate with technical experts to design a governance model that balances innovation with investor protection. And Jack Dorsey is having a radical Bitcoin overhaul idea. Why your Satoshis could soon become Bitcoins. I think he's talking about adding more Bitcoin. Jack Dorsey, co-founder of Twitter, endorsed BIP177, which proposes a radical rebranding of Bitcoin's base unit. Dorsey supported the proposal on X and spread the new idea with 1 million views. As software developer John Cavo published BIP177 titled Refine Bitcoin's Base Unit, arguing that Bitcoin currency could be simplified by removing leading zeros and the decimal point using current prices. A single Bitcoin worth over 100,000 makes the token cumbersome for regular trade. A Bitcoin comprises 100 million Satoshis or sats named after the founder Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto. BIP177 proposes to redefine one Bitcoin as the base unit of Bitcoin instead of the Satoshi or sat value, effectively removing the decimal place system and creating a more conventional system that resembles fiat system. I guess the idea is not going to fly. People like their Satoshis. People like to stack their sats. And removing a zero would mean that you'd be adding Bitcoin supply, because now there wouldn't be 21 million Bitcoins, there would be trillions of Bitcoins. Because right now we have one Bitcoin with 100 million Satoshis, and now all of a sudden we'd have 100 million Bitcoins. Think about it. The Cold War for Bitcoin sizes has been fought already, and it's been lost. So I don't think this is going to happen. The proposal would refer to Satoshis as Bitcoins, changing the way traders represent the price of Bitcoin. For example, if BIP were adopted, 0.00001234 Bitcoin would be defined as 1,234 Bitcoin. That's my point. It's basically would be increasing the amount of Bitcoin in circulation. Bitcoin would no longer have 21 million Bitcoin cap. It would now be going into trillions. So my guess, this is not going to fly. A nice idea, but not bloody likely. I don't think so, but who knows? Who knows in the crazy world of crypto? And the Trump dinner is coming up. Apparently, a Korean CEO has won 1 out of the 25 seats at the dinner table with Trump. And here are some tokens that people may be scooping up before they get into and get in on the dinner. Whale holdings of Cycle soared 276% in 24 hours as its auto burn tokenomics fuel deflation and community-led burn votes. Clanker token bots native token on base, so 30% rise. Solana-based Candle spiked 47%. So those are the three, apparently. Crypto whales are accumulating. Cycle, Clanker, and Candle ahead of the Trump gala dinner set for May 22nd. No idea what the tokens are. Trade at your own risk. And Sailor with another crazy prediction. Sailor sees Bitcoin hitting 13 million. Stacks co-founder has a more realistic take, which would make sense. But I mean, if Bitcoin were diluted the way Jack Dorsey proposes it to be diluted, that 13 million would never solidify. And so for Michael Saylor, I guess that price tag would also not work, or the changing of the numerical values for Bitcoin would not work, because that would that affect his Bitcoin? I guess maybe not. The price tag would simply be divided amongst Bitcoin denominations that are now in the trillions. But Stacks co-founder sees an 80% odds of a new all-time high. Hopefully. I mean, we should see bigger odds than that. I mean, unless we're calling for the end of the bull market. Every week seems to bring a new Bitcoin price prediction, from Robert Kiyosaki's $250,000 target to Michael Saylor's calls for multi-million dollars, just $13 million right now. Bitcoin is currently trading at $107,000. And according to Ali, who forecasts the Bitcoin's 4-year cycle, he apparently is of the mind that the 4-year cycle still remains, as I agree. And according to Ali, if you look at the previous models and apply them to today, they predict another run-up, another big all-time high. According to the peak, could land somewhere in between $150,000 to $200,000. And I think that is a decent prediction. Somewhere around there. So this is what I'm aiming for. 200,000 is high. It feels high, but I mean, it could happen. But I am going to remain cautious and probably begin to take my profits a little bit before this price tag. Why do you need a Bitcoin wallet? You need a Bitcoin wallet in order to store your Bitcoin. And these days, Bitcoin wallets are no longer only Bitcoin wallets. The wallet from Descent can hold over 3,000 different cryptocurrencies. And if you pick it up right now, you can get it with a $30 discount if you purchase one of these bad boys. If you pick up a bundle, if you pick up 2 of them, you will get a $99 discount on the 2 of them. So pick up right now. You can store, like I said, up to 3,000 different cryptocurrencies. It's a biometric wallet, so you can use a finger to get it open. The mobile wallet has a 3-in-1 feature, so you get 3 different wallets. On the mobile wallet, you get access to the biometric wallet. You can have a card wallet and also just a regular mobile wallet that you can use with over 3,000 cryptocurrencies. And this is why you should have Bitcoin wallet like the Descent wallet, is because it holds a lot more than just Bitcoin. So grab one right now. Do remember to smash the likes on this video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Have a fantastic Wednesday, and I will see you on Thursday. CryptoFather out.